Hey, what's going on? It's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. Hey, we're late today. Okay, 7:41, 11 minutes late. That's on me. All right, it's not Derek's fault this week, I promise. Okay, but we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Apparently, what had happened was Ric Flair's making a comeback to the ring. Man, I can't wait to talk about this. This is going to be a lot of fun. Also, MJF still bitching about his AEW contract. Maybe things are getting a little hot behind the scenes. We'll talk about that. Also, Randy Orton puts over Dolph Ziggler. Interesting. We got this plus a couple other little fun things that we want to talk about. So let's get after it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Terrible. No, I'm just kidding. Doing fine. It's all good.
Derek's sending me text messages.
I'm still figuring out my
it's
mute
real.
button.
I'll send it.
It's only been
Before we go live, Derek was like, my mute button doesn't work, see? And then he muted himself. And we were like, it works. And he was like, are you guys screwing with me? Like, no, man, it works. And he was like, well, goddamn.
Yeah, I promise I was told, like, whenever I've had the same mic the whole time. I know at some point I was like, no, there had to be a reason. I don't know.
No, you told us it didn't work.
Yeah, I that was in my head for sure. I believed
We didn't
it.
tell you that.
Yeah,
I don't know why you believed it. Maybe because you could still hear your own voice when you muted the microphone.
Yeah, that's called a monitor.
Well, it's what it's called is his voice because his mouth is here and his ears are here. So, just saying.
Yeah.
What it's called is we've been doing this show for almost 2 years, and Derek didn't know he had a mute button on his microphone. So
it's been the same microphone.
I knew it was there. It just didn't work in my mind. Actually, I paid off my entire vehicle before I realized that I had fog lights. Or I should say how to turn on the fog lights. I just thought they were on.
Push the big round button.
No, it's actually a thing you pull out on my light thing. Yeah. It's a Dodge.
Apologies. Well, I too.
Oh, you paid off the Dodge? That means it's gonna break.
100%.
She's got plenty of miles left in her.
As soon as you pay that Dodge off, it breaks.
I got like 1 year left on my truck, and it's like, I don't know, make it, big guy. I'm just not.
Yeah,
really sure.
Your truck's thinking about it. I know that. Last time we went to Pittsburgh, I was like, dang.
It's I might want to die randomly in the middle of the road. Sorry, Walt.
Nah, it's not like I
just
can
leave me here to.
I mean,
yeah, your truck's just gonna be like, you go on without me. Leave me here to die. You're gonna be like, what? No, you're the car.
Yeah. It doesn't get enough credit for how important it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
So, who else doesn't get enough credit?
Dolph Ziggler?
Jeffrey Penis.
That's correct.
Jeffrey Penis.
Dolph Ziggler. Hey, man. So, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler real quick and why we're going to do so. Randy Orton had been directly quoted saying that Dolph Ziggler is my favorite person to hit an RKO on. He doesn't get enough credit. He's one of the greatest superstars of my generation, quoted by Randy Orton. I think that a lot of fans are hard-pressed to disagree with Randy Orton in this. I know that we make light about the whole Jeffrey Penis thing.
It's just because his name is terrible. It's not him.
He's fantastic.
He's great. They just gave him. They saddled him with the dumbest. Somehow this guy's been a superstar for whatever, like 18 years or something, and he's been saddled with terrible gimmicks and the worst name in wrestling. Like I said, you could have called this guy Jeffrey Penis. It would have been just as bad as calling him Dolph Ziggler. And it somehow through all of that, he's managed an 18-year career of like maintaining. Like he was the world champion, like
multiple
twice.
times.
I was gonna say a couple of times. Like he's a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah,
he routinely holds some title and is in some feud of some meaning. He was just the NXT champion.
Yeah,
like
and a damn good one too.
A great one. Literally put
he
eyes
made
back
me
on the
tune in
product
every week.
Put eyes back on the product. Like bump that number from a 500K to a 700K like that. Bam. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's like a guy that is money who has been saddled with like underappreciated. It is like it's I mean, that's the understatement of the year right there, right? I mean, he could have been. Yeah. I think if he were 3 inches taller, he'd have been the biggest superstar of this generation by far. He'd have been. They wouldn't have needed Roman Reigns. Okay, I'm just saying he'd have been if he was a little taller. He'd have been
that, like, yeah, and I get what you're saying because we always talk about like WWE being the land of the giants, and like we all know the stories, right? But it's like I don't look at Dolph Ziggler and think, man, he's undersized. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
he's not. But at the same time, like somebody was talking about this today. I heard like Cultaholic. They were like talking about how when they met Paul Heyman, and they were shocked at how tall of it, how big of like just how imposing of a presence Paul Heyman is.
Sure.
Like Paul Heyman is like 6'2". Like you only ever see him stood next to guys like Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar or like the Big Show. But like Paul Heyman is not a small man. Like he dwarfs most human beings. He just stands next to like some of the biggest dudes in the world. And so it's like even like Ricochet is a big guy. Like Ricochet's tall. Like he's a big dude.
Hey, he's like 6'1", I think.
Yeah, I mean he's 6'1", 6'2". He stands eye to eye, or maybe even a little bit taller than like Seth Rollins. So, I mean, we're talking about guys who we consider who might be looked at in the WWE as not the biggest guys, but they're huge dudes. And like Dolph Ziggler's probably also a relatively big dude. It just in general, like if he were to be like if he were to stand next to me, I'd be like, hi, buddy. But as far as underrated is concerned, I mean, Randy's right. I mean, Randy's been in the ring with him too. I would bet that he and Randy have had. I know for a fact he and Randy have had a few feuds, either tag team wise or just over stuff. I think actually Randy took the world title off him one time. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I want to agree with you, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I'm almost certain. But it was I could see Randy particularly because the other he's a safe hand, right? Nobody ever says Dolph Ziggler hurts people, right? Randy Orton doesn't want to get hurt when he goes out there. Like Randy Orton doesn't.
So you feed Dolph to Randy. So yeah. So what you guys are saying though is that you're sitting here gushing over the greatest mid-carder to ever claim the Grand Slam champion.
No, that's the Miz. That's the Miz.
No, Miz is not a mid-carder. The Miz is main event. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dolph Ziggler, like you said, he's a great hand. He's perfect in the ring as far as execution goes. He doesn't hurt anybody. He goes in there.
He was just the
he's
NXT
a soldier
champion.
For Vince.
Mid-carder.
He's a soldier for
He was
Vince.
just hold on.
And he does great. Don't get me wrong, man. But don't sit here and gush over him for the first 5 minutes of the show.
Dolph Ziggler's better than
he's a high-level mid-card.
Dolph Ziggler's better than CM Punk. I said it.
Well, I'd like to just go ahead and declare Tom's accountability here and respectability dead.
Dolph Ziggler's
7:50 p.m.
Dolph Ziggler's better than Kenny Omega.
Listen, you might have sold me on the first one.
I'm kidding.
That goes, but he's never going to be a main event guy. It is what it is. It's fine.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I would like to interject, please.
He's literally just someone to feed to the main event guys.
Okay, so you're telling me he's not going to be.
I would like to interject.
Okay.
He's believable.
I would like to interject. Derek, that's actually the smartest thing that you've ever said on this podcast. He's believable. Because he absolutely is. Because you guys are both right, as far as I'm concerned. But Derek, let's pump the brakes and calm down a little bit. All right. This coming from a man that owned the first ever Dolph Ziggler t-shirt ever printed by WWE.
This is true.
So let's just
It no longer
calm
fits.
down on the Dolph Ziggler criticism. Okay. Anywho, I agree with both of you. You're both right. I do feel that Dolph Ziggler is a awesome in-ring competitor, and everything that he's been given, he's turned into fucking gold. To the best of his ability, right?
He's turned a lot of chicken shit into pretty delectable chicken salad. If
I wouldn't know,
can't
I don't
argue
like
that at all.
Yeah. So, but
you don't like chicken?
I didn't say that. I don't like chicken salad.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. It's just weird. Anyways,
is whiskey salad? Does whiskey count as salad?
It depends on if you put ice croutons in it or not. Because you got to figure it's got, you see, you've got croutons, so you're good.
Is that salad? Okay.
Yeah, that's salad. Because there's plenty of vegetables in there.
Yeah, super. This is my vegetables. Yeah.
So, anyways, moving back to Jeffrey Penis. He's absolutely been the main event guy, Derek. And he's carried that torch fairly well when asked to do so. Is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely. Is he going to go down as the top 5 greatest of all time? Is he going to hit anybody's Mount Rushmore? Absolutely not. However, Derek, you did have the most smart comment that you've made the entirety of the time that we've been doing this, and that he's believable, because he absolutely is believable, because he has so many accolades and he can back it up in the ring and he can talk about it. And he's just a perfect little package, and he is criminally underrated. But to call him a mid-carder is just, I don't necessarily agree.
High mid-card. I'm
going to just go ahead and disagree.
So how many points? There's only 3 positions on the card.
Undercard, mid-card, main event.
Main event. That's it. You don't get to be upper mid. Like, you don't get to select.
There are such things as upper mid-card.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Main event. I'm talking right now, like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. Like, these are main event people. You don't see, like, Dolph Ziggler's not going to come in and challenge the tribal chief.
Absolutely could.
But he could. He could
not
show.
Why
not me?
Yeah, he could pull that shit, and everybody would be like, "Yeah, why not him?" Because he's played his part to a T for the last.
I'm not going to argue that.
He could.
But I'm just saying it's not going to happen.
He could super kick an
He's
Uso out of nowhere.
Of a holdover champion. Like, we can put the belt on Dolph for a minute, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I love Dolph. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Dolph at all. I'm just trying to be realistic about his status within the company.
Could super kick an Uso any day.
Do you know what you want to know? What I think his status in the company is? Fucking
trusted worker. That's for sure.
Why?
Comfortable, yeah.
Do you know why? Because
exactly. So I'm not going to build him up to be some statue person.
Listen. Just let me make my point, bud. Okay.
Of course.
Can I do that for once? Are you going to allow me to do that, sir?
Are you done?
I'm trying to make a point here.
I'm done. I'm just waiting on you to be done. If you go ahead.
Okay. So, now that I completely don't know what I wanted to say, no, I'm just playing. But listen, so he's comfortable. And what I mean by him being comfortable is if they called him tomorrow and they said, "Hey, man, we need you to put Roman over at SummerSlam. X, Y, and Z is not gonna play out. We need to throw you into a 2 or 3 month program with Roman." And he showed up and he fucking got in Roman Reigns' face. Every single person in it that is a WWE fan would be like, "Okay, I'm okay with this."
You'll be like, this will be a pretty good match. I'll watch this.
Okay, this will be good.
Yeah,
I'm okay with
I
this.
agree.
Right?
But
at the same point in time, he can be comfortable enough to go and be the NXT champion for 2 months and do a pretty fucking fantastic job. Or hey, maybe we'll throw him in a tag team with Bobby Roode and see if they can't, because we don't have anything for him. So we'll throw them two together and see what they can do. Boom, magic. Tag team champions, right? Hey, we're going to put you in a spirit squad. We're going to make you a male cheerleader. It's an opportunity. Ha, 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 right? And he makes the most of it. And guess what? He's the only one that's still around after all of that. So we can't sit here and we can't downplay what Dolph Ziggler has done for the WWE and overall professional wrestling business. I would rather have 100 Dolph Zigglers than have 2 Roman Reigns.
I think that a point that we made in weeks past, and maybe this will put a bow tie on the whole thing, is we were complaining, and everybody's complaining about Pete Dunne getting the Butch character, and how, oh my God, they just gave him this garbage, blah 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 blah. And I think you look to a guy like Dolph Ziggler, is like, this Butch character is 100% better than the Spirit Squad. Like, there's no arguing that.
No.
And a guy like Dolph Ziggler, whose real name is what is it? It's not Jeff. I wanted to call him Jeff, but he's Nick Namath. He's Nick Namath, which is actually a much cooler wrestling name than Dolph Ziggler, if I do say so myself. Anyway, Nick Namath he got that Spirit Squad thing over. That could have buried him. He could have been like, this is dumb, I'm a cheerleader. He could have sulked about it, but he didn't. You know what? He did his best every night. Then he got a new character, had a stupid name, but you know what? Did his best every night, and look where he is. 18 years later. This is the same thing. Yeah, and I mean, that's, I think, a lesson in what can you do to get stuff over. I think we saw Keith Lee not happy with it, and I think that maybe a little bit of discontentment, took what he could have taken it, and whatever, I got it, I'm the Bearcat, let's do it, and just been excited about it, and
the same with Karrion Kross and the Gladiator gimmick, he didn't, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Pete Dunne. Like, he seems to be picking the ball and running with it, and that's kind of what you have to do in WWE. So yeah, man. First ballot Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, I feel like he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in the more of the memorial type inductions, if I'm being honest.
Oh man, they're going to induct his corpse. Wow. Well, he'll probably outlive us. He may not. I don't know. He'll outlive us. He's probably
pretty healthy.
Hey, so real quick, man. Hey, Derek, man, you weren't here last week, right? And this really weird little fucker showed up in your spot. Yeah, man. Like, I don't know who this cat was.
It was this guy, Derek Housen. It was weird. He was in your house and everything.
Yeah, it was really strange.
What?
Yeah. Didn't care for it at all. Actually,
boys, like I told you, I was working, stuck. I don't know.
Tom liked him, but he didn't like me, and I'm not okay with that.
Portia never said anything. I mean,
it's because you swear too much.
No swears.
Oh,
swears. You did swears.
We did swears.
You have a blimp?
Did not have a blimp like Danhausen. Did not have a blimp.
Yeah.
And instead of a jar of teeth, he carried around a jar of dicks. I don't know what.
It was a weird gimmick. I'll be honest. That was a weird gimmick.
Hey, so weird. Derek, while I've got you on the hook here, what's going on with Kota Ibushi over there in New Japan? What's going on with that? You seem to be following that fairly closely for us.
Yeah, from what I've seen, not a lot of good things are going on with Kota Ibushi in New Japan. Apparently, he went outside of his contract and wrestled for another promotion after they told him that they were moving towards firing him and terminating his contract, which, from what I understand, is at least another couple years or so. He went ahead and went on a Twitter rant at this point, claiming that the company is a black company, which I guess this means that it's like a labor house, like a sweat labor type of situation.
Well, and I'm not saying this to add any fuel to the fire, but the old rumors back in the day in the MMA world was Pride Fighting Championships. Are either of you familiar with Pride? No. All right. Yeah, so it was
just in name.
So it was like the big MMA promotion before the UFC became like this big MMA. Anyways, they had in their contracts, they were very loosely worded, and some of the things that they said, hey, we're not going to test you for steroids, you know what I mean? And then like some of the fights were in the contracts were like worded that they were a fix, so they were a work, and Pride has ties to the Yakuza. Now, I'm not saying that maybe, Kota Ibushi's kind of maybe trying to say the same thing about New Japan here. But you got to kind of, maybe just look at it from that perspective, where there's a lot of money to be made in pro
of course there
wrestling.
is, especially over there in this promotion. And
Yes.
he actually went as far as to throw out the sexual harassment bomb from top
I saw he
level
dropped some
executives.
screenshots.
So yeah,
Which
things
I thought
could get
was
interesting. I'm kind of wondering how this though affects the Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up. I'm sure this one that we have coming up is going to be fine.
Well,
Future
then,
ones,
I mean,
though,
this is a one-off. They're calling this a one-off. So
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't put too much
So-
stock into that. Tom?
As far as this Forbidden Door pay-per-view goes, now I don't know about Kota Ibushi and pulling the wool and throwing everybody under the bus and whatnot, because is it going to happen? Maybe it will. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But as far as this Forbidden Door thing goes, I can't tell you, because they're hyping it like it's this thing that's never happened before, but it's not. And like Ring of Honor did it all the time, and I'm interested to see how it plays out. But at the same time, like, is it just going to be like, they throw all these matches together that for the hardcore wrestling fans are dream matches, but aren't really going to get any extra eyes on the product? Because, in fact, we'll maybe get less eyes on the product than they already have on the product, because of, American viewership tunes in to see CM Punk. They tune in to see Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole and these guys. But, they'll tune in to see them, but it's like we're going to have these one-off stories with these Japanese wrestlers who I would say that not all of the AEW fan base is going to be familiar with. Will they all tune in? Maybe. Will some of them tune in? Probably. I can't see this being a riveting success. Either what's going to happen is, and I think what's likely going to happen is the New Japan guys are going to come in. They're going to have some New Japan style matches, but ultimately do the job for most of the AEW guys. Minus I guess Kota Ibushi probably won't even be there, but now. But it's one of those things where it's just like, what are they making too big of a deal of this, and is it going to kind of be a flop? And is this why we don't really do this? And they haven't done this because it seems like a lot of work, flying a lot of people from Japan, and then something that actually gets less views than normal stuff because they're not building storylines, they're not building new characters, it's just, hey, here's these matches with our good wrestlers versus good wrestlers from Japan. And it's like, yeah, it might be a great spectacle to see live, but is that going to sell pay-per-view buys? So that's, I don't know. I'm thinking it might be a flop on pay-per-view, although they'll probably sell out the arena.
Patrick Martin, friend of the show in the house. What's up, buddy? Yeah, man. Like I'm picking up everything that you're putting down, right? But like here's my whole thing. I don't think.
I could be wrong.
No, but
we'll see.
I don't think that this is gonna affect the show in any way, shape, or form, right? But like to kind of circle back to something that we were talking about last week, was Eric Bischoff talking about, he'd rather have 1,000 hardcore fans, or he'd rather have a pool of 1,000 fans. He would rather have 100 hardcore. He would rather have 900 casual, because he feels like he can build a viewership on 900 casual. And that kind of circles back into this thing that we're talking about here, where like the whole New Japan thing isn't going to entice the casual viewer. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, listen, I like AEW just as much as the next guy. You know what I'm saying? And every once in a while, I'll catch an Impact show.
I feel like the AEW, the changes AEW has made over the last year or so have made it such a good product.
Yeah, it's replaced that itch that NXT used to scratch for me.
Exactly.
Because it's a lot of those guys that we enjoyed, in I would say more high profile stories, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
We know that AEW, that's the tippy top of the tippy top on that side of the world. As to where NXT, we always, no matter what we say, it was always viewed as developmental, right?
We feared what would happen if Vince McMahon got a hold of our favorites.
and we've seen what has happened when
we were often
a hold of some of our favorites.
We were often proven right. No,
but I say all that because, like, there's a small segment of the audience that actually follows New Japan. And while like the idea is cool, right? To like put it out there and hey, New Japan versus AEW, blah, 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 never been done. Oh, okay. And it's great to float that out there for the casual fan. But like you said, Tom, like this kind of shit happens all the time. Hell, they do it now. They've got guys cycling in from New Japan. They've got women cycling in from Stardom. They're doing it on a regular basis on their weekly television show.
Yeah.
But now because you want to bring over a couple of more high profile names that only a small segment of the audience is going to recognize and enjoy, right? Like, I don't necessarily know that is a giant recipe for growth and success that they think is going to happen. Yeah, the building sold out in 45 seconds, whatever it was.
Oh, sure.
Fantastic.
That's going to be a great show to be at.
It's going to be so much fun. Like, absolutely. That environment is going to be wild. But as far as from a business model standpoint, did they really help themselves with this? Derek, this is your world, bud. Like, what do you think about that?
I'm thinking both you guys are right for sure. I mean, Tom, you're definitely hit the nail on the head by saying, it's going to be for the hardcore fan. And Walt, same, it's not going to be a huge seller. It was, obviously sold out immediately, basically. And we're going to get some pay-per-view buys. But like you guys both mentioned already, it's a one-off. And if it was a litmus test to see if we might want to do future business together on both sides, I'm sure. What's going to happen whenever Ibushi just burns this shit to the ground?
Well, what's going to happen.
This is kind of a
going to cut his pinky
bad
finger off. That's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to cut his pinky finger off because that's what they do over there. And they do.
I think they'll cut more than that because that means you're part of the clan. Is if you. You got to get your pinky cut off to be part of them, sir.
No, they just take the top digit. When you fuck them over, they take the whole thing.
Yeah.
So then you got
but yeah, it's not the time to be doing with business with New Japan, which I hate to say, but I feel like this is going to backfire. I feel like it's going to be a one-off show. We're not going to get a lot of buys out of this. Like you said, it's a business model, and we've got to get buys. We've got us that will buy it. Most people, they'll sit there and watch it on other streaming services.
I probably won't buy it, truth be told. I will likely catch some highlights later and be
fellas, I tell you what, whenever he told us that he had a big announcement for us the night that we were going to the show on April 20th. You mean
the show that Tom and I went to?
Yeah, I was there.
You floated there, I think. Yeah.
Physically, you were there.
I was there.
I feel spiritually
he was 4 hours.
Spiritually, he was floating around the building.
Yeah, I was fine. I was great.
Yeah, he had a top rope seat.
But whenever he came out with this big announcement, I was really hoping, even though we run a wrestling podcast, we're way into all this. I was hoping for a streaming service. I was hoping they were going to come to HBO Max.
That would have been so much better. That would have
made me more excited than a New Japan.
That would have been so much better.
The most exciting announcement of that entire night was whenever Justin Roberts said, "Y'all want to be a part of the video game?"
That really was
cool. Yeah,
that was cool.
There's nothing better than that, right?
Yeah.
And then Derek
I even made noise for that.
Geeked. Derek was so geeked, and I was just like, "Hey, bud, that they're going from town to town, and they're having us all record different things, right?" And he's like, "Doesn't matter. We're in a fucking video game."
We are.
We are.
Now, whether or not this video game is actually any good is still yet to be seen.
It's still at the top of the top of the discussion board.
Fellas.
I want to not touch on that again this week, and let's see how this story develops over the next week, and maybe Derek can get some dirt for us on it. But
we might need a little video for that because it
remains at the top of the discussion list. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel some AEW backpedal has been in order the last couple of days, as far as trying to promote other portions of the game other than just visually.
Yeah, those
look at the character models, how shitty they are. By my game. Buy my merch.
So you want to talk about somebody that brings an awful lot of money to AEW? Let's talk about Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Man,
because he's better than you.
Yeah.
And you know it.
Yeah, it's true.
Tom, you've been following this one real close for us, and I appreciate that.
So there's a whole lot actually that came out about this just in the last day or so. Apparently there's been many backstage discussions. Basically what it is MJF, his contract is on the low, right? So he makes whatever that minimum is. However, he is now the main kind of guy. Like he's pretty consistently.
I mean, but he's top one of heels in this business today.
Well, I would say that he is generally I would say he is generally in the whatever feud is being billed as the top feud of the night, because for whatever reason it's not the world champion. Color me confused on that one. But for whatever reason,
living in color.
Apparently, I am.
Did you see what I did there?
Yeah,
that's why they're gonna put the belt on Punk in a couple of weeks.
Yep. Anyway, so I mean, so it's been one of those things where it's like, yeah, so Hangman's the champ, but like CM Punk's in the biggest feuds because he's feuding with Wardlow right now, which have been the absolute far and away best segments of every show.
You mean MJF, not CM Punk.
Right, and MJF, that's what I mean. MJF is feuding with Wardlow right now, which has far and away been, but they've been the best.
Don't you dare mention his name.
They've been the best segments of every show since that started. Before that, he was feuding with CM Punk, which is what, like, all the MJF stuff just seems to weave together. And his feud with CM Punk is the best feud they've put on AEW television, like, by far. It had the most legs. It went on the longest time. It had the best promos. Honestly, MJF out-promoed CM Punk. Did anybody expect that? Dude, that where he was telling him that he was his favorite, and he almost broke down because of, like, met him. That part, like, he almost gave a babyface promo. I felt
that babyface promo was dope. We talked about that.
Come on, man. Like, I'm not stepping up here like I ain't got the punches to back this up. All right, I'm not just talking out of my butt here. All right, but anyway, so all that happens, all that goes on, and then with friggin', but his contract is he's underpaid because he was nobody when he joined the company, right? Although anybody that knew anything knew he was somebody. So anyway, now that he's the top of the card pretty much every night, one of the top build talent in the whole, like, people tune in to see CM or to see MJF. I know I do.
I mean, he's
so,
the first clips I'm looking at.
Right, and I'm just saying. So I'm just getting into what's been going on here, and he knows that too. He's not stupid. Like, if you can call him a lot of things, maybe a little short, but he is not stupid. And so he knows his value has gone up. So he has asked for a raise. Now, obviously, in pro wrestling, it would be Tony Khan's not just going to give a guy who he's got on a contract a raise without changing the contract, right? It's like, yeah, man, I'll give you a new contract, but it's going to be a 4-year deal or something like that for X amount of dollars. And I have the option at here. Like, he's going to pad himself a little
Absolutely.
bit, right? And apparently that's not what MJF wants. MJF wants a raise now, and then he wants to go to the highest bidder in 2024.
That's what his whole shtick is built upon right now.
Right.
So he can't go behind the scenes and get a new contract with TK and AEW and then expect to still be able to be like, hey, I'm the hottest commodity in pro wrestling come 2024. So, like, sure. I understand why he's hesitant to do that, because, like, that right now puts him on a different level where he's able to utilize that to his advantage, because we as fans know that that's the truth.
Sure. Well, and WWE is also interested in him because how could you not be? He's literally one of the only guys pulling like now that they've got Cody, who is one of the other guys pulling eyeballs.
If I'm being honest, MJF and WWE is a match made in heaven.
It could be there's potential, or it could suck. It's one or the other. It's either great or they screw it up, and we go, how do you screw that up? Like they screwed up Samoa Joe. How do they screw up Samoa Joe?
Because he wasn't 26.
That's a good point. He was 45. He is 45. However, he is just awesome right now. Just awesome.
Oh, absolutely. No.
Just
no
awesome. When they put him in, they put him in, every time he's come out, he's been awesome. They handed him a mic.
Dude,
awesome.
The Derek Samoa Joe hate is so fucking real.
It's awesome.
I didn't even know where I'm at right now.
His name. We mentioned his name, and he just instantly turns into a fucking big old salt shaker. He's like that Turkish chef, Salt Bay, right?
Derek, there's so many flavors. There are so many flavors. Why do you got to be salty?
Dude, why do you guys got to sit here and just...
Why do you got to be fans of shit? Why? Why you got to be fans of a guy who's really good at wrestling and who can talk his
literally
ass off?
just said that Cody Rhodes was a giant draw, and that's why he went to WWE.
He is. Dude,
but both of you over the last how many weeks have...
I'm not going to disagree with you, pal. I'm not going to disagree.
His character sucks.
I still don't like it.
In AEW.
I still don't like him particularly well. But you know who they stuck him with? A guy I do really like, and a guy who literally elevates everybody he's ever been in the ring.
I'm the first one to sit here and say I was the biggest Cody hater when he was in AEW, but this whole thing of him going to WWE has my attention, right? Because
it's for them.
It's a big deal.
I really think you both are getting worked like crazy on this MJF angle, though. He's not going
anywhere. I
sure
hope that I am getting worked.
If he was going somewhere and there was a legitimate
I watch wrestling to get worked, pal. So if they are able to
let me unwork you for a
get one over on me, okay?
Yeah.
I'm fucking here for it. So I hope I'm getting worked.
Get one over on me too. You know how hard it is to get one over on me? I call shit before it even happens.
If they really thought
here comes the turn.
If they really thought that MJF was going to do something in 2024 and actually move on, and this was not a work the entire time, don't you think they'd be riding him to the sunset like crazy?
So
instead they sit here and protect him.
So the backstage talent is actually pissed at him. MJF has actually got heat backstage thanks to all of this, because apparently these are legitimate negotiations.
Wait, hold on a minute. Hold on. What did you just say?
They would protect him, and he would not lose as many matches as he has, because he has lost 2, and I believe he's won 4 or 6. He's literally wrestled that few of times.
Hey, bud.
Whereas you see Jungle Boy is 47 and 6.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, hi. How are you? Okay. Hey, this is the real world. Let's talk about it. Okay. Jungle Boy is nothing but a glorified sidekick. Okay. He's a fucking sidekick. If my money was on anybody in that whole thing, I would push Marco fucking Stunt before I would push Jungle Boy. Okay? So let's calm down with the Jungle Boy shit. Secondly, okay? To say that they protect MJF is fucking absurd. He is a chicken shit heel, and he is very good at his fucking job. Okay. Yeah. And the fact that he's lost doesn't mean shit to me, because you know what? He can go in there and he can lose the AEW championship 100 times out of 100. He's going to pick up the microphone and piss somebody off, and you're going to buy right back into him. So don't sit here and talk about, he's protected, because he's not protected. Because if he was protected, he would be out there fucking wrestling every single week, and he would be getting beat every single week, because that's his fucking spot. Until he gets himself into a position, and it's gonna happen, because CM Punk's gonna beat Adam Page. We're gonna get Punk versus fucking MJF for the title to finish out their little thing, and MJF's gonna be the champion, and all's gonna be right in the world. And then anything that happens after that doesn't matter because MJF is going to have solidified himself as possibly the best heel in all of fucking professional wrestling. And you can fucking write that down and you can take that to the bank because that's exactly what's going to fucking happen.
You can take it to the bank.
I don't disagree with anything that you're saying right there. I know that's going to
sit here
happen.
and say that MJF
what I mean
when he's not.
By
he's out there busting his ass every single week.
He's cutting promos every single week. The man's had about 10 matches in his career.
Okay, that's great. Do you know what they pay him to do? They pay him to pick up a microphone just like this and go out there and say, "Shut up, Pittsburgh." And everybody goes, "Boo, boo this man. Oh my God." And then he says a bunch of other shit and we're like, and he walks away and we're like, man, that was the greatest fucking segment of the night. That's what he gets paid to do.
I'm agreeing with you by saying
you're agreeing with me, but at the same point in time, you're trying to talk out of both sides of your fucking mouth by saying that MJF's protected when he's not. Okay, this is what heels do, bud. Okay, they go out, they talk a lot of shit, they get the fucking crowd to hate them, and then they lose matches. That's what happens. Okay, that's what fucking happens. All right.
Yeah. They gotta have matches to lose them.
Okay,
they gotta have.
He's
matches.
not the type of guy that needs to be in the ring every single week. Okay,
but
I don't want to see him in the ring every single week. Did you get to see fucking The Rock in the ring every single week? Did you get to see Stone Cold Steve Austin in the ring every single week in a fucking match? No, you did not. Did people in the fucking 70s and 80s get to see Andre in the fucking ring every single night?
Couldn't go.
No,
that wasn't
they
happening.
Did not. MJF is not a professional wrestler. Okay, MJF is not a superstar. MJF is a fucking attraction. All right, and you pay money to go see that man talk. You don't pay money to see him fucking work in the ring. When you see him work in the ring, you've earned that opportunity to see him work in the ring because he's put your fucking ass in that seat to watch him get his teeth knocked down his fucking throat. It doesn't have anything to do with him being protected. This is the way he needs to be. Okay, and they fucking utilize him to the absolute best of his abilities. The absolute best of his abilities. And there's not a damn thing that you're going to say or he's going to say that's going to change my mind. So I suggest that you stop talking about MJF being protected and MJF can't do this and MJF can't do that. Every time that man stepped in the ring, he's given us a great fucking match. Every single time. Doesn't matter who it was. And you know what he did? He didn't punch his way there. He talked his way there. And we enjoyed it and we were invested in it. And we couldn't wait to see what happened next. If you remember correctly there, little guy, we fucking came back, all right, after CM Punk and MJF fucking number one, right? And we come in here and we said, hey, man, that was fantastic. Everything about that was great. Top to bottom, everything about it was fantastic. I hope they don't
want to see it again.
I hope they don't give us the rematch right away.
And they did.
But you know what? As soon as they threw it on the table, we were like, I didn't really want to eat this, but I'll take a bite. And then you ended up eating the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like I don't really want to eat a hot dog, but you know what? These are pretty good looking hot dogs. I guess I'll eat this hot dog. And lo and behold, it was gourmet shit.
So no, I don't think MJF's protected. Yes, I think MJF deserves to be paid whatever the fuck he wants. No, I don't think that it's fair that Tony Khan is trying to impede upon his gimmick, right? But I also agree with Tony Khan. I do think that's happening because if he wants to extend his contract to give him a raise, that's kind of impeding on his gimmick because he's putting eyeballs on himself as a brand, which is what you want to do as a professional wrestler, okay? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago with the WWE stadium shows, right? We talk about WWE as a brand has far surpassed any single talent on their roster. But now they find themselves in a place where if they want to sell out these stadiums, they need to start building talents individually to become a draw so that they can start to fill these stadiums a little bit more regularly. Or did you not put that in your notes last week? I bet you that's what it was. Anyways,
do you really
if you circle back, hold
on. Derek,
this is a work. It's a work.
Derek doesn't take notes. Yeah, but that's why we watch wrestling. We just said that
I want to be worked, bud.
We're hoping it's.
But I'm trying to tell you, you're being worked, and you're not. You know.
I hope I'm being worked, but I'm going to have an opinion about it either way.
You're going to be.
Pay that man.
Pay him.
Yeah.
And
Already
don't
has
him.
I'm sure.
Although,
but I also respect the fact that TK wants to lock him down.
There's also
storyline.
There's also there is according to friend of the show Sean Ross Sapp, there is legitimate heat backstage for MJF over these contract negotiations. So while it would seem on paper that it would be a good work, it does not seem to be a good work unless they're also working the boys in the back.
Hey, Sean Ross Sapp, SRS, I fucking trust that guy.
So I mean, and you know what? Maybe they're working the boys in the back too. It wouldn't be the first.
That's
time.
always a recipe for disaster. Though you hear about that shit all the time when you work the boys. You hear about all these old timers talking about, oh, well, they tried to work the boys. It never works out. So
and people do get
Russo?
stabbed. He begged for Russo begged for a WWE for a job. WWE told him to pack his shit. They're like, "No, get the fuck out."
Yeah,
like that. Thanks.
We're good. Hey, speaking of contracts in WWE, so Roman Reigns has signed a new contract extension that will see him working lesser dates. Now, I know I kind of touched on this last week in a little bit of a rant, but there wasn't a whole lot of details that were available last week. So apparently, the term "the new Brock Lesnar" is getting tossed around an awful lot with Roman Reigns' name. Tom, I would love to throw to you first on this, but I have a feeling that you have a very, very strong opinion, and Derek's kind of indifferent to it. So I'm just going to let Derek go ahead and, Derek, like Roman Reigns not being an integral part of what WWE does on a day-to-day basis. Like this dude's at every house show. This dude's at every TV taping. This dude's at every fucking premium live event. This dude does media. He's at every signing, everything. Taking a reduced role. What's your opinion?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. I mean, he's been like you said, at every event, every signing, every tape. So yeah, give him some time off. The rumor might be that he's going to shoot a film somewhere, whatever. I'm guessing more than anything, he's going to take some time off with the family, get healed up a little bit. He's still going to be the tribal chief. He's still going to have the undisputed title belts. Give him something to come back to. We'll see him at SummerSlam, I'm sure. And there we go. Money in the Bank's going to happen without him. And we'll move on from there. We've got the Usos. Obviously, they're having a unification title match with.
I still hear rumblings that's not going to happen.
Oh man, I hope so. That's a really hot storyline right now. I'm digging RK Bro. It's getting good.
If you remember correctly, I called for this tag team title unification like 10 months ago when the New Day.
Hated me some Matt Riddle, but I'm into it.
So. Tom,
his name's just Riddle.
Yeah.
So Tom, Derek says absence makes the heart grow fonder.
No, so here, so my understanding is that he's not going to be working house shows for sure. He's not going to be on the Hell in a Cell because in the short term, and if he's going to do a movie, I think that's fine. I do think he needs to be on TV. Maybe not wrestling matches, but I do think his presence needs to be felt. And if less dates means, well, maybe he works Monday, maybe he works Friday, but otherwise he's doing something else. The man, to be fair, has put the company on his shoulders since coming back from his leukemia scare, and then when the pandemic got started, and up to that point. The man has put the entire company on his shoulders and sprinted harder with it than any man has in the last 20 years. And
absolutely.
I think the ratings on both Raw's sold out tonight, by the way. Roman's going to be on Raw tonight, I believe, but Raw is sold out tonight, by the way. There's not a seat left in the building. You cannot
Norfolk, Virginia.
You cannot buy a seat to Raw, you cannot walk up and buy. I mean, we're 30 minutes into that show right now, but you cannot walk up and buy a seat for Raw tonight in Norfolk, Virginia.
And when was the last time you could say that a Monday Night Raw was entirely sold out? It wasn't a house sellout. Like, it was an entire real ass sellout.
It's been not since I started watching again, that's for sure. Certainly not in Pittsburgh anytime, because the last several, like, I've bought tickets a day or so before and had my pick of the joint. So it's not, the last one we went to the Raw before WrestleMania, and while it was slimmer pickings, I mean, we probably even still could have walked up and bought tickets that day. But the ratings, like, I can't, we harper on the ratings because that's what they do, particularly on the Dave Meltzer side of things. Brian Alvarez is always telling us what the ratings are, and they're like, AEW is still great in the demos. But Raw's pulling they're back to almost pulling 2 mil. They're back to almost pulling 2 mil a week on Raw. SmackDown's at like 2.2 mil every week. For modern day like streaming cable, modern day, that's incredible. It's number one every night it's on. Wrestling, professional wrestling is the number one show on television, whatever night it's on, pretty much. Especially whether it's Raw or SmackDown, they're the number one shows on right now.
Recently, because I mean, early on in like AEW's inception, Raw was like 8th, NXT was like 10th, SmackDown was like 3rd, and then like all of a sudden, there's just been this crazy shift where Monday, Wednesday, Friday specifically, pro wrestling's the number
pro
one
wrestling
television show.
It's all pro wrestling. It's and so and truth be told, they're the best shows on television right now. And I'm not like, this is not a knock on AEW in that regard either, because it's also Dynamite's the best show on Wednesday. Period. It just is. In that time slot, it's the best show on.
I mean, I'm not compelled to watch anything.
No, and nor should anybody be. They're the best shows on TV at the moment. And it feels really very much like a renaissance. But at the same time, if you look at like the YouTube numbers, it's an amalgamation, right? It's not just what's on, hey, I pay for cable, and the Nielsen ratings, right? Like, there's streaming, there's apps, there's all this other shit. And it's, this stuff is big money. This stuff is important. It puts eyeballs on what's going on. Roman Reigns is a household name. Is he John Cena yet? No, not quite. But, he's getting there. It's one of those things. It's so as far as my opinion on Roman taking a step back, the man's been, he probably deserves it. It's a better step back than the Miro step back, which at this point is ridiculous to me. I don't know why AEW hasn't fired Miro. What the fuck is he doing?
Why is that even getting dragged into this?
I'm just because he's been gone for months for no real good reason. Unless we find out he's fighting cancer or something. Where the hell is this man?
Maybe he's got that hepatitis.
I would bet that Ric Flair wrestled with hepatitis for a long time.
Fuck.
You don't
know? Anyway, I didn't really know what to say there. But anyhow, if Roman,
don't worry, Tom, I took care of it for you.
If Roman takes a step back for a short period of time to heal some nagging stuff and maybe just show up on a Monday or a Friday and just say, hey, acknowledge me, and then go hang out in the back or whatever, tick some people off, and let some other people build up. I think that's fine. For the short term. Yes. Do I think that is a long term? No. I think that's long term bad. Actually, because Roman's the only guy they've built to that level, and unless they're about to build another guy to that level, and do the same thing to him, then I don't see that guy I mean, that guy, I guess maybe could be Seth, but not really, because Seth's a more natural heel. He's a kind of a shitty babyface, if I'm being honest.
I'll tell you right now who it is. It's Madcap Moss.
Yeah, but they wrote him off for a little bit. Hey, bud, like you.
No, I'm trying to make a joke. God damn, nobody even laughed. They're just like stunned.
You think you're being cute, but that dude's got a future.
No, he's gonna go somewhere. He does good. Baron Corbin gave him a nice rub.
Maybe it's Corbin. Maybe Corbin's the next guy.
Ah, bro, Corbin being the next guy would be so awesome.
It would make so many people upset. But could you imagine God mode
Corbin?
Corbin?
Me upset. What a fucking top-notch human being, by the way.
God mode Corbin.
I know that I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but like seeing him in the airport, and me just being like, "Hey, bud, like I really appreciate what you do. Don't change a fucking thing," and him just acknowledging me with that little shit-eating grin. Like I want that dude to fucking do big things, man.
Yeah, he acknowledged you.
Could you imagine how
the
mad?
Tribal Chef.
Oh my God! Could you imagine how angry?
I was wondering if, listen, Tom, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Did you hear what Derek just called me, the Tribal Chef?
The Tribal Chef, I heard it.
So I sent him the link with the thumbnail, and he was like, I was like, here you go, bud, it's done. And he was like, thanks, you're the Tribal Chief. And then he said, nah, Chef. And it popped me, and then he just said it right there. But even though he complained about the thumbnail this week. So, guys, hey, real quick, if you're here, hit the thumbs up button. Derek's going to make the thumbnail next week. All right, so when we don't have one, you know why.
If you don't have one, I'll buy one, and it'll be fine. I'll hire somebody real quick, freelance.
What the?
I live in Fairmont. You know, every meth head on the corner wants to make me a Photoshop real quick.
Meth heads don't have computers. They sold them for meth.
I'll give him my phone, but on a tether.
Heard. Sounds like I'm making an emergency thumbnail next week.
Anyway, so what's the next topic? Because we're talking about meth.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's not the first time we've talked about.
No, it's not even like the fifth time.
Yeah. You know, the West Virginia spoon. You remember that?
Yeah.
I got a real big pop out of Tom on the West Virginia spoon.
Yeah.
I ruined
my in-laws are tuned in, just like, what the fuck?
You ruined me for it. Was only the end of the episode. I think I came back for match of the week, but otherwise I was ruined. I'm ruined.
Ruined. Oh shit. So we've got MJF. We've got Roman Reigns, both with, you know, wanting or being granted new contracts.
Let's talk about that real main eventer.
You know, Tom, I want to get to you real quick before we start talking about the real main eventer, Derek, okay? Even though I know that this is bad news for this hour here. But so Sheeta got written off of AEW Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, and the only person that was shocked by that was Hikaru Shida.
Well, no. So hold on. To be fair to Shida, they had the two little Japanese girls fight each other.
Wow. Bro,
Maki,
that's fucking like cancel culture worthy right there.
I mean, okay,
like you can't say that.
So they had Riho fight.
And then he fucked her name. Well, we're done.
We're done. So they had Riho fight. What's her name? What? Oh, God.
Hideki Matsami.
Matsami. Yeah. So
hey, real quick, is that the little short one with the like really short hair that goes, hey? Was that that one?
Yeah, she looks like a fairy, like a pirate or something.
So they had them fight. Obviously, Riho won, and then Riho got beat the next week by Ruby Soho.
That's believable.
Yeah, look, they're literally the same person. They're both about 98 pounds. They have pretty similar haircuts. Their ring gear. It's like if you were to select a wrestler back in the 90s. And like their ring gear changes a little because you like selected two of the same wrestler. Like that's what they are. Okay. Riho is the slightly better known one. And I would say is a better wrestler, but at the same time, like, it was Riho. So anyway, that happened, and then it was Riho versus Ruby. And Ruby ragdolled her. It was not like it was really a like kind of fu to Riho. I feel like it. And Riho posted some translated tweet like, "I was very happy to compete." I can't do this. I'm gonna get canceled. I was very happy to compete.
We're already canceled, bud. Like,
I was very happy to compete. I'm sorry I couldn't win. Ruby, I hope you win the whole thing. Whatever she said. It was I'm very sorry I couldn't win. But so that happened. So that was worse. And I would have preferred Sheeta to muck it up with
Glad, where it's like all your male fantasy fans are like, "Oh, you should have won. We're so sorry." Did that go too far?
I didn't go there, but anyway.
So, anyways, moving on. Sheeta was the only one surprised. Listen, guys, we cannot continue to have this conversation.
So Sheeta was
cut bait and bail.
So Sheeta was surprised that she was cut from this, despite had she been in this match, she would have been the absolute. Other than who we just mentioned, she would have been the worst actual wrestler. Actually, you know what? Those other two girls are actually better wrestlers than her. They're just like they're child sized. So the best like adult sized. She would have been the worst adult sized wrestler in.
Hey, they're fun sized. They're not child.
They're okay. You're right. They're fun sized. So they're
That's even creepier.
It's like the candy bar.
Go on.
Like the candy bar, like Marco Stunts, Mr. Fun Size.
Yeah,
I knew where you're going. Look, Marco Stunt versus Riho might be a good match. Anyway, so Sheeta was like, "Oh, I'm hurt, except like, I just wrestled for 60 minutes in Japan." And it's like, but you're in Japan. Also, I bet that match was a mess. I didn't watch it, but I can only imagine her in the ring for 60 minutes was a mess of like yelling and like.
I don't even want to see her in the ring for 60 seconds.
Like I can only imagine it being like a bunch of yelling and like waving a kendo stick and like botches. She probably tripped once. Like whomever she was fighting probably tripped. I mean, I can't imagine that being worth like anybody's eyeballs. So
listen, at the end of the day, the only person that was surprised by this was Sheeta.
Although she came back and was just like, no. It's okay. I
had visa issues.
I'm happy for everybody.
AEW's like, due to visa issues, Hikaru Shida was pulled from tonight's Owen Hart Memorial Classic.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently they came to some sort of agreement.
Kane told his girlfriend to shut up.
The tournament didn't suffer any more or any less than it would have had she had been there anyways. So
no, true. So I had said this, and I know we're not going to talk about this, but Rampage again this week was just a fucking awful show.
Well, we were going to talk about it because I had teased in the description to today's episode that you had a question for everybody.
Okay, my question for the crowd. Leave it in the comments. I don't want to talk about it because it's not worth. Did any of you watch Rampage?
I did not.
Derek, I know you did
not either.
Okay, so Rampage is the worst wrestling show on TV.
I was a little in the weeds this week, pal.
But I'm saying it's fine. Look, there was no reason for you to waste 60 minutes watching. Like,
I wouldn't have. I would have wasted about 47 on like 15-second clicks.
Still, no reason to waste any time. Why is Rampage the worst wrestling show on television by far? Not even close. What have they done to why is Rampage a dog shit show? Go ahead. It was on at 5:30. So
I have an answer.
It was 2:30. It was 2:30 California time. Go ahead.
I have an answer. Rampage is dog shit every single week because they're not sure what time TNT is actually going to put it on the air.
Ding.
So they don't invest too much time and effort into it these days because obviously TNT and the NBA have a massive contract, and we are in the midst of the NBA playoffs. And also, TNT, Turner Warner, whatever. It's owned by Discovery nowadays, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has,
rumor
like,
is that shit's
bunch
going
of,
to
like-
Discovery Plus now, not HBO Max. That'd be fine.
Hey,
Go over
hey,
there.
you know what? Big ups to Discovery Plus if that's
I
the
don't
fact.
have Discovery Plus. Is
Hey, you know
Discovery
what?
out?
It's only
But you know what? You'll
$5.99.
probably
I'd
buy
rather
it
pay
because it'll be
$5.99 than
$5.99.
$14.99. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, because I like it. So I have HBO because like I watch it. Like HBO.
Friend of the
is good.
show, Pat Martin, agrees with you there, Tom.
It's so fucking
Yeah,
bad.
I don't.
It's like,
I
God,
don't
it's
get
like
to watch HBO because I have a child. The child doesn't understand. It would be bad. There's a lot of on the HBO.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah, it can't happen.
I mean,
Listen.
I have 2 children, and they stay up later than your kid.
Well,
Yeah,
they're also much
definitely.
older.
They stay up
They
later
don't-
than me. I go to
they
bed.
They don't watch HBO. I mean, they don't watch the stuff I watch on HBO. It's a matter of it's.
Oh,
you have
so
to
you're
step-
watching the spicy on HBO, huh, pal?
No, I'm
Apparently.
actually.
I don't think
I'm,
Grandma would approve of that.
I'm watching the fucking nerdy on HBO. Let's be fair, guys. I'm watching.
Hey,
Your grandma's
fucking-
favorite.
hey,
'cause
I'm
you're a
watching.
liar.
I'm watching Batman and
Hey,
like fucking.
real quick.
Have you watched Peacemaker? Peacemaker's hilarious.
Listen, I heard it's awesome.
It's
I've not
oh my
watched it.
god, it's hilarious. John Cena is hilarious. It's hilarious.
Don't get me
It's-
started on John Cena because you said Roman Reigns wasn't better than John Cena earlier, and I let you live. So let's just calm down.
He's
Okay?
not. No,
Hey,
I said he's
BT
not
Dubs.
the same household name. That's all.
BT Dubs. All right, Derek. I appreciate like your whole thing this week. Okay, like don't fucking do it again. All right, that's Tom's thing. Don't do it again.
We literally had this conversation before.
We did. We had this conversation before you got here. He was like, "I'm not stepping on your gimmick, but because I was Derek Housen last week, I needed to be send Hook this week just to do the whole Hookhausen thing, and after that, I'm done."
Okay.
And I was like, all right, no, I appreciate it. It's good.
It's
like-
been explained. It was just in the pregame before you got
yeah,
here.
So-
I was okay until like 30 minutes ago. I looked up and I was just like, hey man, that's real fucked up. Like that's Tom's thing. So like don't
I'm
give
not.
it-
Yeah,
But
I'm
my
not
thing has
stepping-
become more. My thing has become more and more ridiculous as time goes. I'm Grandma's favorite tonight.
no, listen, Tom, you do you live your best life, pal. All right. Like
Okay,
I'm-
so I need to tell you, there's this is a 10-second story. There's a thing about this. So my son said, so he's been playing video games online and like people kill him, and he's like, I just want to yell at these people online, and I was like, buddy, you're not allowed to do that because like I don't let him like talk to randos on the internet when he plays video games. So he's only set to be allowed to talk to like people in his party who are his friends, and like that's literally kids I know or me. Because yes, I sit up here and play Fortnite with my son sometimes because he needs his father's help to win occasionally. Not that he needs my help to win, but sometimes I like to stomp. I like to stomp children with my son, and it makes him feel good, makes me feel good. Anyway, so he's like, these guys just make me so mad, and I was like, buddy, can you send the messages? And he's like, I can, but I'm not supposed to. And you said I'm not allowed. I'm like, well, look, if you ever get too mad, just tell them you gave their mom a bubble bath and they liked it. So he was like, what about their grandmas? And I was like, tell them your grandma's favorite.
okay. That's the ultimate like 12-year-old flex for sure.
Yeah. Because look,
Ultimate 12-year-old flex.
you can't say, I banged your mom. You can be like, I'll give your mom a bubble bath and she's gonna like it.
Grandma's favorite is the ultimate 12-year-old flex though.
It
so
is.
Like that's perfect. Hey, so hey, real quick, friend of the show, Pat Martin wants to know: will John Cena ever wrestle again?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too.
100%. I would say
He looked
there's
great against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
Sure
last
did.
year.
I would say there's a 0% chance that John Cena won't wrestle again unless he's for some reason murdered between now and when he wrestles next.
Hey, he might get stabbed in the shower by fucking the referee or
He
whatever.
might. Or he might get stabbed in the shower by some Chinese like government official if he misspeaks on Taiwan again. Although Taiwan is a real country. God damn it. Stand with Taiwan. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, what did he say? So to China, Taiwan is just part of the People's Republic of China, right? However, Taiwan is recognized by the rest of the world as Taiwan, an actual country. And John Cena said something about Taiwan being a country, or the people of Taiwan, but he didn't. Then he came out. This was like over a year ago, and he like apologized to China for calling Taiwan a country, and that's kind of bullshit. Because anyway, Taiwan's a country, John. It is.
Oh, kiddly dokily.
Sorry, that's boring, but whatever. It's true.
Hey, John Cena, Jiminy Christmas. Pat Martin wants to know how much does he make for just 1 or 2 matches a year? A lot.
Yeah, I mean probably like a couple mil a match.
Hey, pal, probably 2 times your P6 bonus check. How about that?
I don't know what
asshole.
I don't know how much that is.
Come in here with your craziness. Yeah.
How much? I mean, how much is
big time? Huh?
How much did John Cena make for? I mean, John Cena probably pulled 6 or 8 mil from that. Nah, maybe you're right. Probably about 2. His run probably made him 2 mil. I would say.
Maybe a mil.
No.
I don't see WWE shelling out that kind of cheddar for fucking 3 months. Hey, Pat, I love you, bud.
He makes 100 mil a picture. Like, why would he just not make a movie for 100 million?
Because he's got a soft spot for WWE. Hey,
listen.
So this is we're deep. Okay.
I just called John Cena a mark, by the way. That's how deep we are.
All right, listen. Let's talk about some real shit. And this is what everybody's here to talk about. Okay. It has been announced that at the Sunday after SummerSlam, Conrad Thompson,
him,
is hosting a StarCast event.
Oh God!
SummerSlam weekend in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh God!
And Ric Flair is confirmed to return to the ring for a final match in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh God!
73 years old.
Oh God!
The limo driving, private jet flying, Rolex wearing, kiss stealing, and these Gators can't keep me down.
Wheeling dealing.
Kiss stealing. Son of a bitch. Ric Flair. 73 years old. Gonna have a fucking match. All right.
Is he gonna go Broadway? We're gonna doing the Broadway.
I imagine that he will. His ego is too fucking big for him to not go fucking Broadway.
Yeah. My in-laws are ready to travel to Tennessee right now.
Are you talking about that?
Mama Linda?
I didn't miss it. I didn't miss it, Linda. Hey, listen, if we're being fair, Linda's been a day one supporter of this show, and we genuinely appreciate that. However,
Linda, if I ever meet you, I will give you a hug.
Linda, I don't want to see a man die in front of me. Okay.
On a premium live event.
You know what though? Derek had said to me earlier. He said nobody wants to see Ric Flair die in the ring and in a ring at a county fair in Tennessee. And I said, you can't prove that. I'm sure there's people. I'm sure there's people that want to see Ric Flair die in a ring. Look, if Ric Flair wants to die in a ring, I think that we should let the man do it. This is This is a free country, goddammit.
And the numbers from the Fight TV pay-per-view will more than make you correct, sir.
Look,
listen, I'll be interested to see what the buy rate on this Fight pay-per-view card is going to be. Now, gentlemen, I don't know if you knew, but like right before we came in here to do this show today, it was announced that Ric Flair is going to be in a tag team match.
Oh, it's a tag team match?
Yes.
Or is this like...
Well, it's being speculated. I shouldn't say that it's been announced. It's being speculated that it's going to be a tag team match.
I mean, it should be Ric Flair
with Ric Flair on one side and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on the other side.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! What are they going to do? Resurrect Macho Man and have him in there too with DDP?
Macho Man's dead. They're going to put a box in the ring.
I said resurrect.
Oh, did you?
Look! If this match doesn't have some reanimation to it, I'm gonna be.
It absolutely has reanimation to it. Have you seen these videos that Ric Flair's been sharing on?
Oh
Instagram
my god! Yeah,
him training with training
not
with
only
Jay Lethal.
Not only have I seen them, Walt, you won't let me not see them.
I'm sorry.
So
listen, I know that's your boy Tom, and like I got a lot of respect for Ric Flair's wrestling fucking career, right?
I can't watch an old man get thrown down. Like it's hard to look
by like an alpha male athlete in Jay Lethal. Like Jay is laying his shit in some of these videos. Like kudos to Rick because he's getting his ass beat, right? But like I think
Rick's
that like
getting back up. Like
I think a part of Jay Lethal knows that like Rick's posting these on Instagram and he's like, I'm Jay fucking Lethal. And if I don't beat the ever loving piss out of Ric Flair, everybody in their fucking mother is going to call me out.
Yeah, I'm not going to look bad on
beating the ever loving fuck out of Ric Flair.
If I don't hit this old man, because that's oh my god, like so it's a tag team match and they're gonna hobble out. Like Ric Flair is like he's gonna walk like I can't. Look, I love Rick. I think Ric Flair is like literally like one of the greatest wrestlers of literally all time. That being said, I can't imagine them dragging his ass. It's like, okay, you guys know I'm a fan of Ghost, right? Love Ghost. Papa Nil, who was
when
like,
you used to have the corner gimmick behind you and it had all the.
It's right there now. I moved it because like I realized that like it couldn't be on screen when I was in like work calls. So anyway, that was the problem. They're like, what's that?
Talk about that we'll talk about that off air.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, so Ghost have this song called Miasma. And in the song Miasma.
Because real quick, the CEO of my company absolutely loved my background. Like the CEO. That's hurtful.
It wasn't so much the CEO. My boss doesn't care. My boss doesn't give a shit.
We'll talk about that.
Anyway, so Ghost. Okay. Ghost is a very sort of a satanic rock pop band that I'm a big fan of. And they had Papa Nil, who was this 100-year-old, allegedly. It's in weird ghost canon, Scooby-Doo type stuff. This 100-year-old guy who was like the head Satan, like Pope guy. Anyway, so in ghost canon, he's dead. He died. However, lately they've been for the European shows because 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, they had this instrumental called Miasma, where he would shuffle out onto the stage, pop on some sunglasses, and play the saxophone solo for this. So what they've been doing is they've been rolling out the coffin with this dead man in it because he died, and jolting him back to life, handing him a saxophone so he can play the saxophone solo. He dies at the end of said saxophone solo, toss the saxophone in the air for somebody to catch it. They push him back in the coffin, roll him off stage. That's what's going to happen in this match.
I think I'd rather watch Tenacious D. It sounds very similar to Tenacious D.
You would rather watch Tenacious D than Ghost?
Yes.
All right. Well,
what? Yeah, anyways, can you listen? Please, let's just talk about Ric.
So anyway, Ric Flair's going to die after SummerSlam. It's some town fair in Tennessee, and you know what? If Ric Flair wants to die in the ring, I mean, I feel like if anybody's earned that, he has. But you know, it's going to happen this summer. R.I.P. Rick. It was a good run. I'll watch you die. If you want me to. Derek said nobody wanted to. I will. If he wants
Listen,
to.
if it's a $9.99 price point, I mean, maybe.
Sure.
I'll watch it on free TV.
Listen,
Free.
real quick. Friend of the show, Pat Martin. Ghost with Patrick Swayze?
If Ghost pulls out Patrick Swayze and he plays the saxophone, maybe I'll buy a fucking ticket.
Anyway,
so, Derek, clearly,
Yeah.
Tom is down to pay $9.99 to see Ric Flair die in the ring. You don't share that opinion, do you?
No, I'm not gonna buy that on the Fight TV. I'm not. It's stupid. It's being oversold for whatever it's going to be, and whatever it's going to be is a disappointment to anyone
it's
that
Ric
actually
Flair.
is tuning
Everything's
into.
oversold when it comes to Ric Flair.
Yeah, man. I've seen him at the Fairmont Arbory. I'm good. I've got my moment with him in my mind. I don't need to see the man die. It's like 90 degrees.
Have you met the man? You ever met the man?
I haven't paid the $100.
It's not $100. God, you walk up, he sits next to Mark Madden. You say, Rick, I'm a big fan. He says,
Not anymore.
Thanks,
he doesn't.
Well, not anymore, but like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. I mean, whatever.
5 days ago.
5 days ago.
You're
Before Conrad came along.
Just a whippersnapper. But no, I mean, Ric Flair's been like he's been on the that Comic-Con circuit for decades now, and you could walk up to him he was more expensive than Virgil. Virgil though,
T's and P's to Virgil.
Yeah, T's and P's to Virgil. Friend of the show.
Listen, I'll add the GoFundMe link down in the description for Virgil. Apparently, he's been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Listen, man, despite what anybody's opinions are of this guy, Tom's met him several times. I've met him once. And we have an ongoing email chain for the show with Virgil. Hey, man, good luck, bud.
Just a fun guy to talk to. Yeah. I mean, he just especially if you give him $10, he's really good.
For $10, you can have a conversation with Ric Flair. For $50, you can have a picture.
Well, I mean, or you could bring him a picture and hand him $10. But you can talk to if you talk to Ric Flair and just be and you bring up matches, Ric Flair's the kind of guy that can't not talk about shit. So all you have to do when you meet Ric Flair is you think of a Ric Flair match that you like a lot. For me, it was always Ric Flair and Macho Man, right? And you say, what's it like to work with a Macho Man? What was it like to work with a Macho Man? Was he as nuts? You sell it like Ric Flair. Sell it like Ric Flair is your favorite. Is he as nuts as everybody says he was? Did he make you go through the match and he's nah, well, everybody else. But with me, I told him I'd call it in the ring and blah, blah, blah. And he'll go into it and he'll give you 2 minutes.
That's always the story. Is Ric Flair always called her in the ring? Macho Man definitely planned it all out.
But he'll give you the 2 minutes of his time to explain it, and that they had fights backstage. So that's why the animosity was so high, because it wasn't so much that they were that they didn't like each other. It was that they just fought about how to put the match together. And Rick was I'll call it in the ring, and Mach was we'll put it up. We'll set it up right now. And Rick was I did cave a couple times and at least bullet point a couple things. But, for the most part, I called it.
Yeah, I know over the years I'd always been told that the reason that GDP and Macho Man matches were so good is because they were both of the same mindset that everything needed to be planned out.
Well, same thing with Triple H. If Triple H would fight Ric Flair, he would just default to Ric Flair and be you tell me what to do, Rick. And that was the way. Because Stone Cold always wanted to call his own match, his own matches too. There was never Stone Cold versus Ric Flair. That never happened. Although that may have been the greatest. That's the one thing I feel we missed out on that we probably should have got. right?
You know what though?
Stone
There's
Cold
certain
Rick.
moments where,
Stone
like,
Cold and
say,
Rick,
Ric Flair versus Hulk, it wasn't as great as you would imagine in your mind.
Hulk was not good though.
No, but in your like,
Look, we got
historically
Rick.
speaking,
We
these
got
are
Rick versus Hulk
matches.
No, I disagree because
If we would have got Rick versus Hulk at WrestleMania 8, I think that we would be talking about that match in a much different light today,
right,
in 2022.
We never got in WWF.
Instead,
we got in WCW.
we got it at fucking Halloween Havoc or whatever the fuck it was.
Bash
No,
at
it
the
was
Beach.
WCW.
like
Halloween
1998,
Havoc, Bash
like
at the
98,
Beach, whatever the fuck it was, 98, 99.
It was like 98, yeah. It wasn't. It
when
wasn't.
They were both kind of on the back nine of their career.
Back nine. They were putting hole 18, brother.
I don't know.
They were on
were
the par
putting
3.
hole 18. Listen, let's not forget
Going
that
for a par 3 course.
Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan both went back to WWE to have a fairly successful run. They might have been teeing off on hole 17 or teeing off on hole 16 even.
Yeah.
They weren't putting
But
on
why
18.
is it the Macho Man got sent to the pasture then to go on to the announce desk whenever
it was a
he
different
had a lot
time,
left
pal.
to give?
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to disagree with you because Macho absolutely should have never been relegated to the desk when he was. But at the same point in time, I mean, we're talking about the early 90s, and then when WCW and the Monday Night Wars that whole shit happened, right? Like things kind of changed. And even now, everybody talks about building new young stars. If you look across the board, especially in WWE, and this isn't a knock, right? The average age is like 35 to 45,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys are getting a lot of attention. I know we talked a lot of shit about it, about building new talent and building young stars. And AEW is doing a good job of that. And I think eventually WWE will figure that part out.
They randomly figure it out from time to time.
But if you look at it right now, man, like who are the prevailing names in all of pro wrestling? AJ Styles.
42. Yeah, 43.
Randy Orton, 43. Rey Mysterio, he's in his 50s. Sting, he's 62. Like the list goes on. Bobby Lashley's like 43. Brock Lesnar's in his 40s. Like the prevailing list of top level guys are a little bit older.
Roman's
Cody Rhodes.
Roman's what, 36?
Yeah, he's like 36, 37. He's like right in our age group, right?
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes is the same, 36, 37, right? And he talks about this. He says wrestling prime is like 33 to 45 because you've had enough experience and you understand the business just a little bit better and you're able to be that top guy that you want to be. So I don't know, man. But at the end of the day, if you look at it, Ric Flair stepping back into the ring is just ruining everything that he's built before today. And I understand, that whole competition itch and like, hey, man, I need to know that I can still do it. But it's like, bud, if you can't look at your career and you can't sit there and do your podcast and do your public appearances and just enjoy what a fantastic career that you've had, despite all the crazy allegations and all of the extra part that comes with being the Nature Boy, right?
Yeah.
It's like you need to look at your legacy and what you've done for yourself. And you just need to enjoy it, man. Don't go out there and don't like stir the pot. And it's like, hey, I can still do this. I need to do this, especially like I almost died 3 years ago. Like everything was over, Hey, bud, look at your body of work. Appreciate and respect your body of work.
We do.
Because to us as wrestling fans, we sure as shit appreciate everything that you've given us. But when you do shit like this, it makes me not care.
How many last matches you need? That's my main thought about it.
He could have never. He could have never wrestled another fucking match ever again after the Shawn Michaels. I'm sorry. I love you. Super kick.
Yep.
What was that? WrestleMania 22?
I mean, it was a long time ago. Yeah.
It was in
It was the
Orlando,
perfect
Florida. That's
ending.
the only. I don't remember what the number is, but it was in Orlando. That was the perfect send off. And then they gave him Monday Night Raw and had a whole ass party, right? But that wasn't good enough. He went to TNA.
Yeah, he
did
wrestled
some
in
shit with Jay
TNA.
Lethal, like,
Yeah.
you know, that shit's an iconic fucking gif, right? Woo, 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 woo. Like, we all see that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, okay, that was cool. Like, you made a little bit of an ass of yourself over there because like you were retired, right? And then you actually stepped away. You made the appearance at AAA for Andrade and Tom. I mean, you put that over. You know, like he looked good in that role.
I mean, he popped up. Look, I think it's one thing to show up and like take a bump or put somebody in a figure four, like as a 70-year-old man. Like that's one thing, right? Because even you know, Joe Briscoe and who's the other stooge? Pat Patterson. Yeah, even Briscoe, even Patterson and Briscoe. You know, even like Patterson died 6 months later. You know, did the 24/7 thing on the Raw, whatever it was, Raw 35.
What a great segment that was, though.
You stooge! Oh my god, that was I love it.
Listen, if that was the last time, like the last time we saw Pat Patterson on television ever before before he passed away, right? Like, what a perfect
send off.
Perfect send off.
Perfect
for a just absolutely decorated pro wrestling career.
I mean, a guy who invented all of what modern sports entertainment is. Like, you can trace it all back to Pat Patterson, right? It all goes back to Pat Patterson, that sports entertainment thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's banana. But
I had to pay.
But it's, you know, at this point, with Ric Flair coming back out, would I pay to watch it? We'll see. We'll see how it's booked. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe.
Hey guys, listen, actually. You guys can come over here. We can throw it up on the screen right here. Give me your $3.33 a piece. All right, we'll buy it. Okay, it'll just be like an old school thing. Remember whenever you used to go to your buddy's house?
Can I just give you?
Listen,
$10?
you used to give him fucking $10 a piece whenever you came over. You know, the moms always ordered pizza and made sure you had snacks and like you watched the pay-per-view. Like it was a big thing. You remember that? You paid your $10.
Can I just give you $10 and like you can order pizza?
No, why don't you just
wait? Do you have Ohio Valley pizza?
No, we have.
What the fuck? You guys live in the Ohio Valley? How do you not have Ohio Valley pizza?
Hey pal, I'm a make dinner if you come here.
Oh, that's better. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
I take it back.
Anyways, give me your $3.33, okay, for the $9.99 buy-in price. All right, and we'll watch it together.
But there's tax. Can I give you
like? But it's $9.99. If it is advertised at $9.99, I will personally buy it, and we can come here and watch it.
Okay.
Okay. We can watch it right here in the studio on that fucking screen right there.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So,
well, when you put it so sexy like that,
it'll be a throwback. Like you have to pay me your $3.33. I want it in cash. I want it in cash.
Okay.
Because Tom, you know what I'm talking about. When you would go to your buddy's
Absolutely,
house,
I know what you're talking about.
It's got that feel, right? Like I need your $3.33 in cash.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you my $3.33.
Hey, friend of the show, Pat Martin. He says, guys, I'll Venmo you the damn $10, then go live and talk about it. ?
Pat, why don't you just come too?
Yeah, Pat.
Pat come hang out.
Just come too.
Like I look, I would love nothing more than to pay, than to pay $250 and have Pat there too, and then we could just watch it with Pat. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm down. Pat, are you down? Let me know. Hey, but real quick, Tom, Derek stepped away for a hot second. New to the chat today, AJ Raider. All right, this is a great one for you and I. I'm curious about how can Fight TV promote this and use the JCP WCW trademarks legally when WWE owns the trademarks? Can anyone answer that question?
So as far as those trademarks are concerned, if we're talking about like Ric Flair or Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, those aren't trademarks that are owned by WWE. Jim Crockett Promotions and WCW and all that stuff. I don't know. They can't, truthfully. If that's what we're talking about, they can't say. They can mention it in passing as a like, he was a big star in WCW. He was a big star in Jim Crockett Promotions. He was a WWE guy. He was this, that, the other. You can mention them but you can't mention it in like the promotional material.
Hey, can I go full on conspiracy here? Can I?
Yeah,
do
go
that?
for it. Yeah, go ahead.
So, okay. So we all know Conrad Thompson, the Podfather, right? That's Ric Flair's son-in-law, right? Conrad.
Wait, hold on. Who's he married to?
He's married to Rick's older daughter, Megan.
Megan?
No, Megan.
Megan. So Rick's just bad at names. Okay. So she's okay. Okay. All right. I'm listening.
Are you following now? You didn't know
No, I didn't, but I'm listening.
That's awesome. All right.
I'm listening.
So Conrad does a podcast with Bruce Pritchard.
Of course.
What's to say old Brucey boy didn't say, it'll be all right. Nobody's going to fucking pay attention to that anyways.
I mean, he probably said that.
And then said to Conrad, hey, bud, go ahead, use that stuff. It'll be all right. Nobody's going to fucking pay attention.
That sounds like a Bruce Pritchard thing to do. That's probably a coin flip. Somebody might pay attention, or maybe nobody will pay. Look, if Rick dies, nobody's getting sued. If Rick doesn't die, and it makes a lot of money, somebody's getting sued. If nobody watches, but like us, nobody's getting sued. We had one pay-per-view subscriber, some motherfucker set in like Morgantown, West Virginia, subscribed to this shit. And here's Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus these other two motherfuckers who you don't know. Jim and Bob, bitch tits. They just showed up. Anyway,
so listen, I got a follow up here. Yeah, but in the Ric Flair promotional video, he just put out and says Jim Crockett Promotions, Ric Flair's last match. It's ballsy, man.
It's a ballsy move. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's a ball, because you know what? No, I saw that too. In my first thought when I saw that, I was like, I know WWE owns that, but like they didn't throw up. God, so like trademark stuff is hard, right? Like you can't. It's not like
AJ. We all saw it, bud.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. So like trademark stuff is hard in a way that like, so it's on YouTube and like they could have it pulled off of YouTube. I'm sure WWE, if they gave a shit, WWE could pull it off of YouTube, right? However, further than that, I don't know that there's much involved with it, right? Like,
hey, pal, all I'm saying is I made a video about Edge winning the Royal Rumble, okay, for our shitty little channel, and I got copyright strikes. And that video no longer exists. So, like,
well,
WWE's out there doing work, bud.
Look, it's probably going to get a copyright strike on YouTube. Like, that's probably going to get pulled off YouTube at some point. Ric Flair versus Jerry the King. Winner lives, loser dies.
You saw that?
I did. But so, I mean, it's like I said, copyright law is weird. If you have a copyright, it's yours and you retain ownership of it. However, that being said, you have to be the one to bring the complaint, right? You have to be the one to say, hey, he can't do this. And either whatever that is, usually the first thing is they pull it down, right? So is it possible that WWE, if Rick continues to, what's most likely is these videos that are up on YouTube will be pulled down from YouTube once WWE catches wind of it, because they own the copyrights on all of that. Will it go further than that? Probably not. And the pay-per-view will probably go on. Now, if they mention these copyrights in the pay-per-view, there may be suits after the fact, especially if the pay-per-view is successful. And they may, WWE may, hey, look, you promoted with our copyright, and a lot of that money belongs to us now. And we want, let's say the thing makes $1 million. Yeah, we want $750,000, and maybe they go to court about it, and maybe they fight about it. Maybe they settle out of court. What if we just give you $250,000 when we call it a day? All right, you guys put the show on. That's probably what'll happen, right? Somebody will talk to Bruce. Bruce will talk to Vince. The backdoor, the boys, them backdoor relationships.
Guys, if anything, it's already been talked about, and I'm sure it's been licensed for X amount of money, and
it might have been
$250,000 to just let it relax. And
even that, it may not even be that much. It may be like, hey, can we?
Yeah, I'm just throwing a number.
Can we just give you $5,000 to leave us alone? Yeah. I would love $5,000. Like Vince is the kind of guy who's like, yeah, I'd love $5,000. Just give me $5,000. I don't even fuck. And that's the thing. When you have $1 billion, when it's like, oh my god, let's fight about $15,000. It's not like you.
Yeah, there's easily a go away fee paid.
Yeah, there's probably somebody probably threw $5,000 to $10,000 at WWE and said, hey, we're going to mention XYZ. Rick wants to do this. It's for Rick. It's the last one. And they'll be like, we like Rick. Either WWE
and then they'll be like, so for how many years? Because we're going to put a 2-year embargo on this. So he can't have another last one until he turns 75.
It depends. It depends on who they talk to. They may have talked to Hunter about. They may have talked to Triple H about it. Triple H probably went, okay, I'm going to sign off on this. I have the authority. Just do it. That's probably, look, it depends on who they talk to and who's who. Triple H could sign off on this thing and just say, look, that's it. It's fine. Right. All right, look, this means to WWE. What does this mean to WWE? Probably nothing. Right. Probably nothing.
Triple H way too much credit though.
But at the same time, maybe WWE is like, hey, if at some point, can we use the footage at some point? And they'll be like, yeah, sure. And that's probably the long and short of it, right? Can we use?
So you think they want footage of Ric Flair dying in the ring?
I mean, I don't know if they want yeah, no, actually, yes.
Maybe they put a clause in there that if he dies, they own the footage.
No, I just think
if he dies, he dies.
I think they're expecting him to not die, but I think that the thought is that they probably say, yeah, go ahead and use it, but let us use the footage.
There's got to be some sort of
he's going to come out and do some chops and have a couple woos and maybe put on a figure four to end the match, and that's about to be about it.
Without digging too deep, Tom, and you keep up with more of that shit than we do, right? And it's I don't know, man. There's got to be something there, some sort of agreement between WWE and Conrad and his promotion company or whatever's happening here. Hey, we just want the footage. There's got to be something there, because a lot of these things, the JCP and a lot of the video used in the package is all owned by WWE. You just don't become somebody the stature of Ric Flair and your entire legacy and library of work isn't owned by somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I think the you just say, yeah, just the footage is, if we want to use it, we can use it for free. I feel like that's really where WWE was. You can, mention Jim Crockett Promotions, mention WCW, but if I want to use the footage from this match, I don't know anybody anything. And they probably go, okay, that's fine. Because they'll get the pay-per-view buys or whatever they're looking to get. And what Rick will get whatever he's looking to get, which isn't necessarily money. And it'll
that
sell.
motherfucker needs a payday.
Nah, he just needs some drinks at the bar afterwards. That's what he wants.
Nah, that motherfucker needs.
He wants another boys' night out.
I mean, Rick has always needed a payday. Let's be fair. A wheeling dealing, jet flying.
Hey, by the way, before we get into our last segment of the show, he met up with Wendy this week. His now.
I saw that his now ex-wife, the wonderful Wendy.
Looked like they had a wondrous Wendy.
The wondrous, right? Wondrous. I'm sorry.
They look like they had a good little weekend together. Hey, by the way, guys, circle back. Sounds like Mr. Patrick Martin's down to join us in the studio for a little Ric Flair dying in the ring.
So I gotta. All right, I guess I'm coming to watch. Well, what do you make? You
Patrick Martin shows all show.
Nah, I'll make something good. We'll figure that out. Let's talk about that offline.
All right. Chicken pot pie.
Hey guys. It's that time. Match of the week. Tom.
I'm so shocked. I'm not prepared. No, that's not true. So Danhausen's versus Tony Nese. No, I'm a liar. No, it was Dash Harwood versus Adam Cole. Baby. I mean, how could it not be, right? I mean, God, you put two of the best ever, the best possible wrestlers in the ring today. We're just going to put the two guys who are better at wrestling than anybody else. We're going to let them wrestle. Is everybody cool with that? And everybody was like, I want to watch that. Okay, you guys got like 25 minutes. Get at it. And they fucking went. They just went at it. God, these guys don't get tired. It was everything I wanted the match to be. So yeah, I love Adam Cole. That shouldn't be a shock to anybody who watches the show. Baby, I love Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole is the best professional wrestler today. Dax Harwood is he's one of the other 10 best wrestlers today. And yeah, so it was a great match. How could it not be? And that's my match of the week because Jesus, it's like one of those things. It's like, what's the best money? Is it $1 billion? Is it $1 million? Is it $100? It was the $1 billion match. So yeah, that's the match of the week. So yeah, go on,
Derek.
So I kind of had two. I know one is not your all's favorite, so I'm going to leave with that first. That's going to be Darby Allin and Jeff Hardy with the Owen tournament.
Hold on. But this is actually really important to me.
Okay. Yes, I know.
Why the fuck was this why was this a hardcore match? These have been all straight wrestling matches until this match, and now there's chairs and ladders. Why is this like a why?
Why can you not suspend disbelief and just watch a movie?
Because why doesn't AEW have rules? There's no rules.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter? They didn't present it to you incorrectly. They presented to you exactly what you were going to get, a no holds barred tournament match.
But I don't understand why. Why was this special? This one in the tournament. This is like one match in the tournament. This one, look, this was great. Have to zone out on the thing that I'm not arguing that this wasn't good. But why this? Why do they get there? Like, hey, we should do a hardcore match, like this one, like this one match of like we've had like a dozen of these, but like this one, like the number 13 is a hardcore match.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't. I don't.
But that's why it wasn't my.
I just don't understand.
I
Anyway,
get
go
you,
on.
man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't my match of the week. Well, my true one was though. I just did want to acknowledge that one. Acknowledge it. That
it was good. Like, I'm not here to like shit on like, but I was just like confused. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this could have been for like maybe this was for the TNT title, and that would have been fun and great. But it was like, oh, hey, part of the Owen Hart tournament. Except this one is different than like literally the rest of them.
Yeah,
in the tournament,
wow.
like we don't come out and like, hey, NHL playoffs, but like this one we have hockey. Yeah, this one's or this one we have a shootout, and then like and then like if like there's a boxing match in the middle of it, like that's it's
yeah. Well, someone has to die at that point.
Yeah, they'll
go in the fire hole. It's Mutant League hockey. It's over.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there's no
Genesis.
like. I'm just saying that's not like it's not like we don't do this in other like this is supposed to be like the legitimate like this is more, you know, this is sports entertainment, and the more they continue to go sports like they just embrace it, sports.
Thank
entertainment.
You. Yeah, now you're coming around.
Okay.
Do you want to know what my favorite match of the week was?
Absolutely.
Do you want to know what my one was?
Absolutely.
So, we've got Jungle Boy. We've got Ricky Starks.
He's a star.
He's a star.
He is a star. They put on a hell of a match, fellas. They put on, you know, a solid, exactly like we would rate Dolph Ziggler. If you wanted to go back at that point, a solid working match. That's what they put on.
It was good.
That's what we had. I loved it.
It was good. It was good.
If you want to watch some wrestling, here you go. That's it right there.
See, that's not a match I can argue with. If you're like, that's my bet. That you said that's your match. I can't argue that. It was good. I enjoyed that as well.
That's why I let off with the other so we could argue a little bit because I love you.
I don't want to argue with you. It's just like because that match was also good. Like it just didn't make sense in the context of like what was happening. Like what the fuck? Why do we get this? Hey, we're having a tournament, but this one match here gets a different rule set. Like what the fuck? Like who was drunk and was like, yeah, let's do that.
I knew
Matt
that
Hardy.
was going to be a fun little.
It was Matt Hardy.
Too soon, pal. Too soon.
What? Why?
Too soon. Too soon. All right. So I actually had an honorable mention this week. First time in a long time. Alexa Bliss versus Sonya Deville. I really enjoyed a lot of the things that Sonya Deville was involved in as a WWE official. And to see her get fired and then get squashed by Alexa Bliss. Hopefully they do right by Alexa. She absolutely deserves that. She's earned that. And
they still seem to be confused about what to do with her character, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, so I actually I thought that segment was sort of perfect. If I have to be, because I don't know that it was a match per se, although I appreciate you bringing it up because I really like that's one of the like that's a stand to me. That's a like there's we watch a lot of wrestling, right? There's like 10 hours of wrestling to see. That's like 3 minutes of like really stand out. Like it like went whoop for me too. I'm really like that really like in 3 minutes they made me interested and made me want to tune in to see like, well, what are they gonna do with this next? Like both with Alexa and with Sonya Deville and like all of it. It's all like one, Alexa's back and she's like sort of this like dark goddess thing, which I'm like, okay, this could be because I liked where they were going when she like got like cut off TV to like go get married and do all her other shit, and then like she was like, oh, why am I not back yet? And it was like, but bitch, you want to get married? Like, come on. Anyway, so like there was like that whole thing, but it was like I really liked where that was, and now they bring her back sort of in a way that I'm like really kind of interested to see where it's going to go because I liked all those vignettes of her like working on herself, but like she's like so this seems really to still see to kind of be within kayfabe for me, and like to me kayfabe is important and they maintained it, and like I really like that. So let's roll. Let's roll with it because now I'm interested. What was the match of the week, Walt? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
My match of the week was Cody Rhodes versus Austin Theory.
That was good too, and I like that Austin Theory went over.
That was the most bullshit match.
I didn't really care for the finish.
No,
finish was man.
It was not what I expected.
No, but I do like that they took the opportunity to further the storyline between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. You know, and the overall match, Theory and Cody Rhodes, pretty good. Theory, you want to talk about Ricky Starks being a star. Austin Theory has star written all over him. And that's just going to be a matter of time at this point. So
I feel like he's already 95% there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a guy that just
there's going to be you have two guys that are stacked as far as physically, and it seems that linguistically they're very well off, which is Riddle and Theory, but they both have stupid names. Do those exist long term, and how do they come back with a reasonable name that actually makes sense that we can use long term?
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being honest. Like, they're dumb.
I mean, I think more realistically, Austin Theory and Matt Riddle being Austin Theory and Matt Riddle as opposed to Theory and Riddle makes much more sense. But unfortunately, in the WWE universe, we don't live in a sensible land.
I do think that at some point they get their first names back.
Sure hope so.
I don't know about Matt Riddle, but I do agree with Theory.
Just not yet.
Riddle has negative connotations attached to it, though.
I mean, I guess we'll see, but I don't know. I don't know that Riddle's going to be on the level of Austin Theory. I don't think he will be. I think that they may feud at some point where it'll be Riddle versus Theory for some like an Intercontinental title or something, and I think that'll sort of be the top of what Riddle hits. You know, he may end up being Matt Riddle and be a legitimate challenger at some point, but I don't think he'll ever be the guy. I think that they see Austin Theory as the guy.
It'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out.
Maybe none of them will be the guy.
Yeah, maybe none of them. Never know. All right, guys. Well, hey, today was pretty damn good show. Hey, so we appreciate you. If you're still here, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Audio folks, thank you so much. As always, we appreciate you. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. And yeah, it's been good. As always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.